Welcome to Psych with Sigmund, the podcast, where we explore the fascinating world of psychology and its relevance to our everyday lives. I'm your host, Sigmund, and today we're going to delve into a concept that can help us become more creative, adaptable, and open-minded: functional fixedness. Functional fixedness refers to the tendency to view objects, situations, or problems in only one way, based on their traditional or conventional function. This cognitive bias can limit our ability to think outside the box, come up with innovative solutions, and see things from different perspectives. In psychology, functional fixedness is important because it relates to human thought, emotion, and behavior, influencing how we approach challenges, interact with others, and navigate our environment. The concept of functional fixedness emerged in the 1930s through the work of psychologist Carl Duncker, who conducted a series of experiments on problem solving. Duncker found that people tend to fixate on the conventional use of an object, even when it's not the most effective solution to a problem. Since then, research has continued to explore and refine our understanding of functional fixedness, including its relationship to other cognitive biases, such as confirmation bias and the availability heuristic. One key psychological theory that explains functional fixedness is the idea of schema-based thinking. Schemas are mental frameworks or concepts that help us organize and make sense of information. However, when we rely too heavily on schemas, we can become rigid in our thinking, failing to consider alternative perspectives or uses for objects. Another relevant concept is functional thinking, which involves understanding how objects or systems work and can be applied to different situations. Research has provided numerous examples of functional fixedness in action. For instance, a classic study by Duncker involved giving participants a candle, a box of matches, and a box. The task was to attach the candle to a wall so that it wouldn't drip wax on the floor. Many participants struggled with this problem because they were fixed on using the box as a container, rather than as a platform for the candle. Only when they considered alternative uses for the box could they find a solution. In real-world applications, understanding functional fixedness can help us become more creative and resourceful. For example, think about a common object like a chair. Most of us see a chair as only something to sit on, but it could also be used as a ladder, a bookshelf, or even a makeshift desk. By recognizing the potential for multiple uses, we can cultivate a more flexible and adaptive mindset. Functional fixedness can also impact our social interactions and relationships. When we're stuck in a fixed mindset, we might overlook the benefits of collaboration or fail to adapt to changing social dynamics. By acknowledging and addressing functional fixedness, we can develop more effective communication skills and build stronger, more resilient relationships. Therapeutically, recognizing functional fixedness can be beneficial in treating conditions like anxiety and depression. For instance, cognitive behavioral therapy often involves helping clients identify and challenge their negative thought patterns, which can include rigid or fixed ways of thinking. By learning to approach problems from different angles and consider alternative perspectives, individuals can develop greater cognitive flexibility and improve their mental health outcomes. She had a tendency to see her job as the only source of identity and purpose, which led to significant stress and burnout. Through therapy, Sarah began to recognize her functional fixedness and explore alternative perspectives on her career and life. By considering new possibilities and challenging her negative thought patterns, she was able to develop a more flexible and adaptive mindset, which improved her overall well-being. In conclusion, functional fixedness is a psychological concept that can help us understand why we often get stuck in our thinking and struggle to come up with creative solutions. By recognizing the limitations of our schemas and being open to alternative perspectives, we can cultivate greater cognitive flexibility and improve our problem-solving skills. As you go about your day, take notice of how often you find yourself fixed on a particular way of doing things or seeing the world. Challenge yourself to think outside the box and consider new possibilities. To further develop your ability to overcome functional fixedness, try practicing mindfulness and meditation, which can help increase cognitive flexibility and reduce rigid thinking patterns. Engaging in creative activities like art, music, or writing can also stimulate your imagination and encourage novel thinking. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content on psychology, mental health, and personal growth. Join the conversation by leaving a comment below, and don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes insights.